Judges 4. The children of Israel continued to do what was evil in the eyes of Hashem, once Ehud died. Hashem delivered them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, who reigned in Hazor. The general of his army was Sisera, who dwelt in Harosheth Goim. The children of Israel cried out to Hashem, for Sisera had 900 iron chariots, and he oppressed the children of Israel forcefully for 20 years. Deborah was a prophetess, a fiery woman. She judged Israel at that time. She would sit under the date palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel on Mount Ephraim, and the children of Israel would go up to her for judgment. She sent and summoned Barak, son of Abinoam of Kadesh Naphtali, and said to him, "Behold, Hashem, the God of Israel, has commanded, go and convince the people to go toward Mount Tabor, and take with you 10,000 men from the children of Naphtali and from the children of Zebulun. I will draw toward you to Kishon Brook Sisera, the general of Jabin's army, with his chariot and his multitude, and I shall deliver him into your hand." Barak said to her, "If you go with me, I will go, but if you do not go with me, I will not go." She said, "Indeed, I will go with you, but the path on which you have chosen to go will not be for your glory, for Hashem will have delivered Sisera into the hand of a woman." Then Deborah got up and went with Barak to Kadesh. Barak mustered Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and 10,000 men ascended in his footsteps, and Deborah went up with him. Heber the Kenite had become separated from the Kenites, from the children of Hobab, father-in-law of Moses, and pitched his tents as far as the plain of Saananim, which is near Kadesh. They told Sisera that Barak son of Abinoam had gone up to Mount Tabor. Sisera mustered all his chariots, 900 iron chariots, and all the people who were with him, from Harosheth Goim to Kishon Brook. Deborah said to Barak, "Arise, for this is the day when Hashem has delivered Sisera into your hand. Behold, Hashem has gone forth before you." So Barak descended from Mount Tabor with the 10,000 men behind him. Hashem confounded Sisera and all the chariots and the entire camp by the edge of the sword before Barak. Sisera dismounted from his chariot and fled on his feet. Barak chased after the chariots and after the camp until Harosheth Goim, and the entire camp of Sisera fell by the edge of the sword. Not even one was left. Sisera fled on his feet to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, for there was peace between Jabin, king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. Jael went out toward Sisera and said to him, "Turn aside, my lord, turn aside to me. Do not fear." So he turned aside to her to the tent, and she covered him with a blanket. He said to her, "Give me now a bit of water to drink, because I'm thirsty." She opened a skin of milk, gave to him to drink, and covered him. He said to her, "Stand at the entrance of the tent, and it shall be that if any man will come and ask you and say, 'Is anyone here?' you shall say no." Jael, wife of Heber, took a tent peg, placed a hammer in her hand, came to him stealthily, and drove the peg into his temple, and it went through into the ground, while he was sleeping deeply and exhausted, and he died. Behold, Barak had been pursuing Sisera, and Jael went out toward him and told him, "Come, and I will show you the man whom you seek." He came to her, and behold, Sisera was fallen, dead, with the peg in his temple. On that day God subjugated Jabin, king of Canaan, before the children of Israel. The hand of the children of Israel became progressively harsh over Jabin, king of Canaan, until they destroyed Jabin, king of Canaan. Judges 5. Deborah sang, as well as Barak son of Abinoam, on that day, saying, "When vengeances are inflicted upon Israel, and the people dedicates itself to God, bless Hashem. Hear, O kings, give ear, O princes. To Hashem shall I sing. I shall sing praise to Hashem, God of Israel. Hashem, as you left Seir, as you strode from the field of Edom, the earth quaked and even the heavens trickled. Even the clouds dripped water. Mountains melted before Hashem, as did Sinai before Hashem, the God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, son of Anath, in the days of Jael, highway travel ceased, and those who traveled on paths went by circuitous roads. They stopped living in unwalled towns in Israel. They stopped until I, Deborah, arose. I arose as a mother in Israel. When it chose new gods, war came to its gates. Was even a shield or a spear seen among 40,000 in Israel? My heart is with the lawgivers of Israel, who are devoted to the people, saying, Bless Hashem. O riders of white donkeys, you who sit in judgment, and you who walk the roads, speak up, rather than the sounds of arrows aimed at the water drawers. There they will recount the righteous deeds of Hashem, the righteous deeds for his open cities in Israel. Then the people of Hashem descended again to the open cities. Give praise, O Deborah. Give praise, utter a song. Arise, O Barak, and capture your prisoners, O son of Abinoam. Now the survivor dominates the mightiest of the people. Hashem has given me dominion over the strong ones. From Ephraim, whose root fought against Amalek, after you came Benjamin with your peoples. From Mashir descended lawgivers, and from Zebulun, those who ply the scribal quill. The leaders of Issachar were with Deborah, and so was the rest of Issachar with Barak. Into the valley he was sent on his feet. But in the indecision of Reuben there was great deceit. Why did you remain sitting at the borders to hear the bleatings of the flocks? The indecision of Reuben demands great investigation. Gilead dwelled across the Jordan. And Dan, why did he gather his valuables onto ships? But Asher lived by the shores of the seas and remained to protect his open borders. Zebulun is a people that risked its life to the death, and so did Naphtali, on the heights of the battlefield. Kings came and fought. Then the kings of Canaan fought, from Tanash to the waters of Megiddo, without accepting monetary reward. From heaven they fought. The very stars from their orbits did battle with Sisera. Kishon Brook swept them away. The ancient brook, Kishon Brook. But I myself trod it vigorously. Then the horses' heels were pounded by the gallopings of their mighty riders. Curse, Meroz, said the angel of Hashem. Curse! Cursed are its inhabitants, for they failed to come to the aid of Hashem, against the mighty. Blessed by women is Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. By women in the tent will she be blessed. He asked for water, she gave him milk. In a stately saucer she presented cream. She stretched her hand to the peg and her right hand to the laborer's hammer. She hammered Sisera, severed his head, smashed and pierced his temple. At her feet he knelt, he fell, he lay. At her feet he knelt, he fell. Where he knelt, there he fell, vanquished. Through the window she gazed. Sisera's mother peered through the window. Why is his chariot delayed in coming? Why are the hoofbeats of his carriages so late? The wisest of her ladies answered her, and she too offers herself responses. Are they not finding and dividing loot? A comely captive, 2 comely captives, for every man. Booty of colored garments for Sisera. Booty of colored embroidery. Colored, doubly embroidered garments for the necks of the looters. So may all your enemies be destroyed, O Hashem. And let those who love him be like the powerfully rising sun. And the land was tranquil for 40 years. Okay, then that was Judges chapters 4 and 5. And so this next judge of Israel reminds me a bit of the story of Rahab in the early parts of the book of Joshua. So Deborah is already recognized as a considerable person of wisdom. She's described as a fiery prophetess. She tells this guy Barak to attack, claim victory and leadership, and he will have success. But he believes his good fortune to be tied directly to Deborah. And so he says, if you go, I'll go. So far, we have read a countless number of stories of how God comes to one person, empowers this person through being able to understand spiritual things. From this understanding, they go on and accomplish these unbelievable things. They're leaders. Other people look at them and they say, wow, that dude's really got it together, man. I'm going to follow this guy. Moses, wow, I'm going to follow Moses. He just parted the Red Sea. What, are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm following him. So Barak, in this case, is looking at this fiery prophetess, confidently saying, it's time for you to go. And he says, you have to be there because I know that you're connected to God. Deborah is sort of like, are you sure you understand that the glory of this victory is not going to be yours? It's going to be mine, a woman. And this guy Barak doesn't seem to care. He's like, I care less. Let's go and handle our business. I prefer freedom. This to me is kind of this is a power move from the guy Barak. Of course, they whip Sisera and all of his chariots and all of that stuff. But the real story here is Jael, the wife of the king's ally. She lures in General Sisera, gives him heavy cream, which is like a narcotic or whatever, and he falls asleep. This woman takes a spike. She grabs a hammer. She nails this guy's head down to the ground. This is craziness. She runs out of her camp, flags down Barak and Deborah and says, come in, take a look. This is what I've got for you. The woman incites the war, and then another woman ends it. So Deborah and Barak put this song together that sort of like details this unbelievable miracle in the hand of God and all these sorts of things. But she sings, what happened to Reuben? They were indecisive. And then she says about Dan, seemed to me like he was trying to flee, like he's loading his stuff onto ships. The other nations were mustered to go to war against Sisera, and they are honored in this song. But what do you make about this Reubenite business? Okay, so we got Sisera. He deals harshly with Israel 20 years. Deborah and Barak come. Jael kills Sisera, and we have peace in Israel for 40 years. Handful of years of peace with a leader and a judge, appointed by God, given the spirit for the power, and then fewer years of oppression during the time that these judges are dead. Boom. Boom. The judge exists so that the people say, oh, we better not do this because Deborah. But then when Deborah's dead, what do? They say, let's do this crazy evil. Nobody's around. Seems like the natural position for society is to not cooperate. When there's a leader, the leader sort of requires cooperation. But then once his leader's gone, the society seems to kind of revert back to its natural place, and that natural place is called sin. Crime and filth and misery, enough for God to have to punish them every however many years. Thank you for watching. The NQE is out.